cried, I screamed, I laughed. Oh my god, it hurts so bad, but it's amazing and I love it. I highly recommend it. I'm scared for the next book. Hey, what's up? My name is Angela and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to be going over my favorite book from each month of 2025. Starting off with the most important thing of this entire video is the coffee of the day. My cute little Fanatics cup. I have a vanilla iced latte. I also have on my Fanatics Christmas PJs. They're the cutest things and they're so comfy. I absolutely love them. I figured on this nice cozy wintry snowy day we could do a cute little sit down video and talk about all of the books that I loved throughout the year. I know that December isn't technically over yet. Today is December 14th. However, I kind of already know which book is going to be my favorite for December, but we'll get into that later. Right now, I am looking at so much snow. It's absolutely insane. Let me actually take a quick video and I'll show you what it looks like. So that's what I'm looking at. So we're going to drink our iced coffee. Oh, sorry. We're going to drink our iced latte, and we're going to talk about all the books that I loved throughout this year and why I'd recommend them and how much they broke my heart and I cried and this and that and everything else in between. Let's get into it. Okay, so over here I have my computer and I have a non-spoiler synopsis for all of these books, because if you're a reader like me, it's like, oh my god, yeah, I love that book, but like, could I tell you one thing about it? Most of the time, no. I have no retention, honestly, anymore. So I did look up non-spoiler reviews because I loved every single one of these books. They were my favorite, obviously, for that month for a reason. And I refuse to spoil anything because if you have not read them, I highly, highly recommend that you do read them. Also, if you hear this, I am getting over being sick, so we gotta just deal with the voice. We have to deal with some of the echoey stuff in like an office, and I just can't. There's not a lot on the walls. There's not a lot of furniture in here. We're rolling with the punches, all right? In January, I read a total of 5 books, but my favorite was The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. This actually, I believe, was my first book by Rebecca Yarros, and I absolutely loved it. It broke my heart, but I loved it at the same time. It was like, oh my god, it hurts so bad, but it's amazing, and I love it. I highly recommend it, and I tell everybody to read it if you want to cry. It's great. The synopsis says that this one is about Ella, who's a struggling single mom to twins who finds solace in writing letters to her brother's military friend Chaos, Beckett, but she doesn't know his name was Beckett yet. Their correspondence blossoms into love, but tragedy strikes when her brother dies, leaving Beckett to fulfill a dying wish to go to Telluride and help Ella because she's going through a lot. When Beckett arrives, secrets and deep-seated emotional wounds, his and Ella's, both complicate their love life, their forced proximity because she's like living right next to her, and he tries his best to honor his friend's promise while also like keeping the secret from Ella and like actually like falling in love with her. This book, you like think it's gonna break your heart for one reason, and then it absolutely obliterates everything that you've ever felt in your entire life for another one. I was shocked, I cried, I closed the book and like threw it across the room. I didn't want to read it anymore. I couldn't believe that this author did this. I absolutely loved it. It was a great book and I highly recommend it to everybody, but just like, it's gonna hurt your heart. I'm telling you, it's going to hurt your heart. The next month, in February, I also read a total of 5 books for that month, but my favorite was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is actually book 2 of that series, I believe, but I don't think I knew that at the time. But this one was about Alexis, who is a wealthy, high-pressure ER doctor, and then Daniel, who is a charming, younger, small-town carpenter slash mayor slash like whatever, who she ends up meeting him unexpectedly. They're obviously in completely different worlds, but they have so much chemistry between them too. Because of the differences between their worlds, it forces her to kind of like pick and choose like from the terrible family that she has and like everything that they stand for and everything about them to like what she truly, truly wants, and getting away from the life that she once had or has and the life that she feels like is right and the life with Daniel that she wants to be a part of. I love the way that Abby Jimenez writes. I love her characters. I love like the little animal that's always in them. I think that they're like, it has good banter while also talking about like difficult topics and kind of putting like a light to them. I really did enjoy this book. I would highly recommend it if you haven't read it. And then let me actually look up like what are the other books. Hold on, please. I gotta go over here for the what the heck is this thing called? For my keyboard. So, Part of Your World. I lied to you. Part of Your World is book number 1. So I did read book number 1. I didn't read, that's what I did. I read book 3 a while ago, and then, is this ever gonna load? Yeah, so that's what I did. I read book 3 a while ago, and then I went back and read book 1, but I haven't read book 2. Yeah, just me being me. So that's it. So it's Part of Your World, then Yours Truly, then Just for the Summer. I didn't read it in the right order, but that's my fault. So that was that. That was my favorite from February. In March, I read 6 books. This was a better reading month for me. And my favorite book from that one was Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. I put this book off for quite a while. I just wasn't like gravitating towards it, but I was like, you know what? It looks like a short hockey romance. Let me pick it up. This one is a contemporary college sports romance that focuses on the healing between 2 athletes at Waterville University. You have Sadie, who's this figure skater, and she's going through like family problems trying to get custody of her brothers, while you have Reese Katowski, I think it's something like that, who suffered a injury while he was playing. So every time he gets on the ice, he like gets a panic attack, gets really nervous and scared, and they kind of heal each other while being together and figuring things out together. I'll be honest, at first I was not loving the book. I was like, okay, whatever, like it kind of felt like a little bit like Icebreaker to me. I don't know if that is like a bad whatever, but I ended up absolutely loving it. I like put it down, came back to it when I was ready, and absolutely flew through like the 75% of the book that I had left. I highly recommend it. I absolutely loved all the characters. I really did end up liking the story. It turned out to be a little different than I thought it was going to be originally in the beginning, so I ended up enjoying it a lot more. But this one was definitely like top from that month. In April, I only read 2 books, and there's a reason for that. Because I'll tell you both the books that I read that month. I read Taming 7, and then I read Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. My favorite from that month did end up being Kingdom of Ash. I don't even have a synopsis for that because I refuse to spoil that series, because if you have not read that series yet, then you need to go read it immediately. I will not spoil anything for you on this channel. You will not be hearing any spoilers unless you watch my reading vlogs for it. But that book was like, what was it, like 800-900 pages or something like that. I had a very busy April, and I was just, I don't even know. That book just, like, it really threw me. The most incredible books that I've ever read in my entire life. It was a great conclusion to a series. I cried, I screamed, I laughed, I smiled, like, literally all of the emotions I felt while reading that book. I loved every single one of the characters. I am so attached to every single one of them. They're just so complex and, like, amazing, and I just love them, honestly. The more I talk about this series recently, the more I feel like I have to reread it. So maybe in 2026 I'll be rereading it, but I'm telling you, like, that month, I literally, like, I only focused on Kingdom of Ash, and it was like this giant book. Oh my god. Can you please read Throne of Glass if you haven't read it yet? You don't understand. It's the most amazing book you'll ever read in your entire life, I'm telling you. Or book series that you'll ever read in your entire life. May, I read a total of 6 books, but my favorite book was The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. That was book number 2 in the Campus Diaries series. The Dixon Rule is about Diana Dixon and Shane Lindy. They end up having this fake relationship to deter her, like, crazy ex and deter his ex as well. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll be together. He moves in next door to her, and it's just really convenient. However, they end up obviously getting together, and there are a lot of issues that surround that. This was like a hefty, like a thick book, and I was a little nervous going into it, same with The Graham Effect, that like how thick they were, like what, it's just like college, like romance, like what's happening. It has great tropes, it has enemies to lovers, it had fake dating, like forced proximity, like all of those things. And I absolutely loved it. I think it dealt with very like difficult topics at times that were interesting to see from these characters' points of views. I absolutely love them. I loved how much they hated each other at first, but I was like, you know what? Because you guys hate each other, when we saw it in The Graham Effect, I was like, I can't wait for this book. So it was really, really good. They were great. Like, I can't spoil it for you. How do I say this? There were some great quotes in there that I related to. It was interesting to see somebody else put into words like how I felt, because I related to the character. So things that character was saying, I got, and I really enjoyed it. I still have like pictures on my phone of like when I took pictures of the book. So good. Absolutely loved it. I have to read The Charlie Method. I have the physical book. Maybe I'll pick that one up. I'll pick it up eventually, but maybe I'll pick it up next. In June, I read 7 books, and that is also the month that I read Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh, which is book number 6 in the Boys of Tobin series. If you don't know that series, I don't know if I would recommend it because there are such hard topics. I would want somebody that is going to be reading them to look into themselves first. I would probably not recommend this series, although I really enjoy the series. This one is book number 6, and it's a new adult romance, is what, according to Google, it is considered. And this entire book follows Lizzie Young. If you remember Lizzie from the other books, it does go over a lot from her past. It was a very difficult book to read, but by far was it like my favorite for the sake of the fact that I don't even know how to word it. It broke my heart into a billion pieces, but it was so necessary for the story for you to understand why Lizzie is the way that she is. I'm scared for the next book. Very scared for the rest of the series. When I read Binding and Keeping 13, I thought that it was just Binding and Keeping 13 and then Saving and Redeeming 6. I thought that was it. And then I was like, oh, there's more books coming out. And it just keeps getting harder and harder every single time I pick up a book. But by far, that was my favorite book from the month of June. In July, I read 5 books, and my favorite had to have been Confessions by Kenny Minato. I'm sorry, I butchered that name completely. But it is a dark and twisting psychological thriller about a middle school teacher who is seeking revenge on 2 students in her class after they are implicated in the death of her young daughter. It reveals complex motives and shattered lives through shifting perspectives and unreliable narrators, exploring themes of justice, despair, and motherhood. I listened to this one. I think there's a total of 5 chapters throughout the entire book. Each chapter is about like an hour long, and I'm driving, or like while I'm listening to it, or I'm listening to it while I'm working, and I'm literally just like jaw open every single time. And I don't even know how to explain this book. I don't. It was just so like twisted and different from the books that I had been reading or read like this that I don't even know how to compare it to something else. I would highly recommend listening to this book more than reading it, because I feel like being able to hear it from like the narrators, like with the narrator's voice, was just next level. It really made me feel like I was there, and I love the fact that it was only 5 chapters, so each perspective was like a chapter. I think about this book every day. I really do. In August, I read 6 books, but my favorite book was Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan, I feel is how you say it. And it's about Allie, who's a single mom and a professional organizer whose life is messy after her mother's death and her husband leaves her. She feels stuck until a charming visitor, Ethan, sparks a potential new connection at a dog park, which leads her on a journey to rediscover herself, find joy, and navigate healing amidst grief and the chaos of single motherhood. The other books that I read this month were part of a series that I just feel like none of them really stuck out that much to me. This book was perfect for like what I needed at the time. I read the majority of this one like outside sitting by the water or on the beach, and I finished it relatively quickly. I thought that it was just a perfect summer romance, and I thought that it was really interesting. And although not really like, I believe that there was an age gap in this book, but I don't think it was anything crazy. I could be wrong. Again, in one ear out the other the minute I finish the book. I like read it and it's here, and then like I close the book and it's like bye. So I could be forgetting if there was a giant age gap, but I did enjoy this for like what it was, and for everything else that I read during the month, that this one was a favorite. I think it was a perfect summer romance. I really like picked up the slack and tried to get ahead of my reading goal, which I didn't do until recently, but I really tried. And in the month of September, I ended up reading 8 books. But by far, honestly, my favorite book was Unloved by Peyton Corinne. It's book number 2 in the Unloved series? I think it's something like that. This one is a college sports romance about Freddie, who is a hockey player with a bad reputation, and Ro, who's a hopeless romantic who's like trying to fix her past, ends up tutoring Freddie. Ro is Sadie's best friend, and Freddie is a part of the hockey team that Reese is on. This one is a tutor/student dynamic with like a friends to lovers thing going on, with also like kind of a slow burn, but not really. Like I wouldn't consider it slow burn, but Google is telling me that it's slow burn. I feel like maybe not, but there is a past with them that we didn't know originally, so I thought that was interesting. I really loved their story. I absolutely loved Freddie and Ro together. I loved how protective he was of her. I like giggle and kick my feet every time I think about them. It was just so cute, and I think I actually loved their story more than I loved Unloved, which was crazy. No, that's not what it was called. What was the first one? Unsteady. I feel like I actually loved Unloved more than I loved Unsteady, which is saying a lot, but every time I talk about my favorite books, I just want to go back and reread them every single time. I felt like the characters were so complex and deep for such like a short romance novel that I just loved every single second of it. I really did. It was emotional. It was like, it dealt with difficult topics. You really saw again how complex and like deep the characters were. I really, really enjoyed it and highly recommend it. I'm so excited for the next book to come out. I believe the next book comes out in just a few months. Like, I don't think it's too far from right now. In the month of October, I also read 8 books, and I flew through the Eden series that month. I had read 1 or 2 of them a few months prior, but I finished out the series that month, and it was really hard for me to choose my favorite, but again, because they're so short and I absolutely flew through them, the one that really stuck with me the most was Jasper Vale by Devony Perry. This one is a fake marriage romance where Eloise and Jasper drunkenly wed in Vegas, agreeing to annulment but faking the marriage for 3 months for family reasons. Eloise wants her hotel, and she doesn't think that her family really thinks that she can handle it, and Jasper needs a +1 for a wedding, so they agree to fake a marriage for 3 months before they end up divorcing. It's opposite to track. Eloise is very talkative and has like a heart of gold, and Jasper is a brooding UFC trainer who's very like bleh. And she's like all sparkles and sunshine, so it's like very like grumpy sunshine kind of thing going on here, marriage of convenience, fake to real kind of thing. It was very interesting. This entire series was really good, but this one was just like quick and really fun to read. Honestly, I'm really sad that that series is over, because like the whole series being like having like a mystery element to it and just being like quick and easy reads, like the whole family, like the Eden family. I love them so much. I love them so much. During the month of November, I actually had the best reading month that I had all year, and I ended up reading 9 books. And my favorite from that was Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This one followed Jet Mason, who, after a violent Halloween attack, discovers that she only has a week to live due to a catastrophic brain injury that she suffered on Halloween night when someone tried to murder her. And it prompts her to race against time to solve her own attempted murder with the help of her childhood friend Billy, and she ends up uncovering dark secrets about her family and her town. There were points in this book that I was genuinely freaked out, and I was like, I'm gonna close this book, and I'm gonna leave the house until somebody else is here, because I was like looking all around like, oh, okay, that's scary, great, can't wait. Holly Jackson, like, probably one of my favorite authors. I loved Good Girls Guide to Murder. That whole series, I ended up finishing that this month too, but Not Quite Dead Yet had such like a different thing to it, like the fact that it's like, I didn't expect the ending. We'll just say that. I'll put that there without spoiling it, but I didn't expect it to like actually happen. Why? I don't know, it's literally there, but I liked the concept of the fact that like someone tried to do this to her and she's like, didn't work, not yet at least, and then she has a week to solve her own murder. I loved Jet. I thought that she was an incredible character. Her family drove me like out of my mind, but I loved Jet. I loved Billy, the characters in the town, finding all the secrets. Like Holly Jackson, like if you didn't know how to do anything else, which you do, but like if Holly Jackson didn't know how to do anything else, like writing, like being able to have like all these little secrets hidden all around that like you won't know unless you like truly pay attention, and like as you want to like you're racing through the pages, like it's that you know how to do that. Like you really hit the nail on the head. Is that like a bad thing to say for what this book was? Probably. Moving on. And although December isn't over yet, I have about 3 books until I hit my reading goal. I'm reading 1 right now, and I'm just gonna try and finish out the rest of the year with like easier books that I don't think are gonna be my favorite throughout the year. And I feel that way because currently I am reading Bear Town by Frederick Bachman. I am about 100 pages into it. I'm not super far into it. The other books that I've read, which I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books so far, and they're very just easy, Christmassy reads. Nothing like crazy out of this world in comparison, obviously, to what this book is doing to me already. I am scared for my life. Don't know. I've been putting it off, honestly, and not reading it like crazy because I just know it's going to be a heavier book and I know it's going to make me upset. But I feel like this is going to end up being my favorite book of December, so I feel like it's okay to make this video earlier than I probably should, but whatever. So this one is probably going to be my December read, like my favorite of the overall month. So that brings this video to an end. Those are my favorite books from each month throughout 2025. Well, nearly, but you know. And I felt like overall I had a really good reading year. I have a lot of goals for 2026. Maybe I'll make a whole video about that on what my reading goals are, my reading journey, and how I want to go about 2026 as far as books and everything of that sort. I felt like I got through a lot of series this year. I felt like I really went through like my physical TBR. As I kept on buying books, so whatever, different topic. And I felt like I read good books this year, not just reading to read. I read books that I like wanted to get to, that I was like super interested in, pretty much. And overall, it was just really good. I felt like we read good quality books this year. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Bye!